citizens to their responsibilities, which include holding government to account. In a world where there has been a huge disruption in the media landscape as a result of technology, which has in turn given rise to the so-called citizens journalists, some of whom capitalize on the freedom of the social media to peddle information and hate speech, it is important that the real professional media houses are cultivated. So here are some strategies to manage the media, looking at them from the prism of the military-media relationship. That relationship, at times like this and beyond, must be predicated on the fact that both institutions, that's the media and the military, mean well for the country, and therefore must grow the relationship in the interest of nation building. There must be a clarity of the fact that whilst the military is given to top secrecy, the media by its nature favors openness, with the belief that citizens have the right to know. Therefore, there should be an understanding of the critical role of each other so as to bridge the gap that may exist. It's important to identify and engage with real professional media organizations whose integrity is not in doubt. Then there's the need to encourage and support a strong defense correspondence corps. We should have access to declassified information. Sometimes it is advised to take them into confidence on some classified information, if that is ever possible, provided that they keep the side of their bargain to keep the secret secret. According to Chidi Omeje, a journalist and editor of Security Digest, constrained by the lack of access to information and boxed in by the demand to meet production schedules, many reporters have found themselves in such quagmire that the only way out is to go to the press with the ubiquitous, reliable sources as the only source of information. This is the most potent breeding ground for the twin vices of sensationalism and subjectivism in defense reporting. The media thrives on information. That's the oxygen of the media. Denied of that oxygen, and then you have reliable sources. And in some cases, this doesn't all go well. The media favors sources who are open and accessible at all times. The army spokesman must keep his words. If he had promised to get back to the journalists who had approached him for clarification on a story he's dealing with, if this happens, the media is less likely to be antagonistic if they are treated with dignity. I must say that with channels we've had very good relationship with the military as regards access to information. Because the media works with deadlines, it's advised that turnaround times for press releases or engagements should be shortened. The information desk must be ready to counter the propaganda of insurgents with quick, authentic, verifiable narratives or explanations which the media can use. Now, waiting for over 24 hours to counter a claim or allegation from a hostile group creates room for such a claim to gain ground and mutate among the populace. I remember a case in point when an aircraft went missing. The immediate reaction was for silence. Not much information was forthcoming. But again, in so many other instances of where we've had some unpleasant situations, this present military has been upcoming in an effort to get information across to the media. Your crisis communication strategy should be reviewed regularly because the world is dynamic. The information landscape is changing every day. Technology is disrupting everything. And so there must be periodic reviews. And taking the media close to the front line of theaters of conflict, provided such locations are safe at the time, is one effective way of engaging with practitioners who would certainly become comrades, having witnessed operations in a real time. The military should consider organizing or sponsoring training programs for select media practitioners. Capacity building has a way of creating a positive atmosphere for discourse towards identifying viable media approach and collaborations which will support kinetic efforts of the military in combating present and emerging threats. It is gratifying to note, I must say, the establishment of the Armed Forces Radio. You now have the tools to engage with a heterogeneous audience. It is critical to work with credible media practitioners who would handhold your personnel, such that in this way, the bond and mutual respect between the military and the media is further strengthened. I'm happy to indicate that quite a number of military personnel in the Armed Forces Radio have received training at the Channels Academy here in the Federal Capital Territory. Our doors are always open for collaboration with you. You're always welcome. So in conclusion, I'd like to emphasize that Nigerians want to know how military operations are being conducted. Not before they are conducted, but if there is any information to be given, briefings are absolutely necessary. Government and indeed the military have to manage the media and proactively clarify issues as they emerge, not only in the mainstream media, but also as found in the free marketplace of information known as the new media. It becomes therefore most imperative to seek ways that will bridge the communication gap between the two critical institutions, to push further the search for enduring military relations and by extension, civil-military relations in the interest of our dear country. Finally, here is a word for the media, even as the military, without doubt, has just had a shot in the arm on the implicit necessity to deepen its engagement with the fourth estate of the realm. Our stations, newspapers, or platforms should not give oxygen to enemies of our country who crave media publicity to survive and operate. We must, repeat, we must practice responsible journalism in the interests of our national security. My parting shot is, if you manage the media well, you can successfully manage public opinion. With that, I say thank you very much for listening, and God bless you all as I say.